Hi, I'm Lisa Hayden with Channel 6, Central Kentucky TV, Community Focus on Washington County. And we want to say to Gail Worthington today on air, congratulations, Gail, for being the Citizen of the Year in the Springfield, Washington County Chamber of Commerce at their awards banquet, which Channel 6 recently covered. Congratulations.
Thank you. I was really surprised. I wasn't surprised that night, but I was really surprised when she called me, and all through the night I would think, what have I done? I would think, what have I done? But then my sister Kathy explained to me a little bit more about it, how it wasn't just this year. It was years and years of dedication to this community here in Springfield and Washington County.
Yeah. And you are the director, what do you call that position?
I am in activities. I do all the hands-on care.
Okay. Activities director, they call you, Gail, at Springfield Nursing and Rehabilitation?
I have someone that helps too. So I'm more the activities now.
Okay.
Coordinator for the hands-on care.
Okay.
Yes, but like computer work, I've got somebody that helps. That's awesome.
Yeah.
'Cause I have a lot of work I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our place has been so supportive. The community has been so supportive of our nursing home. And Channel 6 TV has even been at our nursing home. Do you remember that? Yeah. How you came up?
And filmed up there?
He did.
Yeah. Well, you know, Springfield Nursing and Rehab at one time was Medco.
It was.
And that has been in this community. And I know Violet Elliott owned and operated Medco.
They had it built in 1969.
Okay.
And then after she and her husband owned it, but not long after, they sold out to the Medco Centers of Springfield.
Okay.
And then we were bought out by Extendicare, but in America, it could not be called Extendicare. It was called Unicare in America.
Okay.
And then finally, powers that be, government I guess, decided that it could be called Extendicare. So we really weren't being bought out for a different company. We were just had the name change to what the company originally was called in Canada.
I see.
And then a few years back, Extendicare sold us out to Preferred Care Corporation. Now we are owned by a company out of New York, and we go by the name Springfield Nursing and Rehab Center, which we've done that for a long time. But we're known as that, not by some big corporation that owns us.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, I don't know. It took me, some people still call it Medco.
They do. They sure do.
It's hard to stop calling it that when you call it that. Since when? When was it you said it opened?
1969.
So, you know.
And everybody thought it was a great big place back then. However, it has been added on to over the years, and now it still doesn't seem big enough because we have rehabilitation services, we have therapists, and so it makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when they added on to the back of the building, a man who was originally from New York, he was an architect, a very good architect. His name was Mr. Ernest Steidoff, and his sister was a sister down at St. Catherine, so she wanted him close to her. So he would sit out back of the building, and he would say what he would have done differently, how they built the back of the building, because he was an architect. And one of the biggest places that he probably was an architect for was Joe Kennedy. Do you remember the famous Joe Kennedy?
You mean John Kennedy's father?
John Kennedy's father. He said, I remember when Joe would come to, Joe would have me go down and we would work on the house, and he said, I think he was just trying to get, maybe just to get the wife away from him, but he said, I remember that they were, Bobby and Teddy and John F. Kennedy were just little water boys carrying water around for the people who were working, and he actually knew them. So anyway, he evidently was a real famous architect in his day.
And that's one thing, Gail, I appreciated, and I know everyone else did, what Kathy said in her speech, is that you really got to know the residents and went out of your way to do special little things for people. And that,
Sure do, all the time.
Yeah. And you've
Did
been
some
there
today.
now. How long have you been there?
Next Friday, I will start my 34th year.
I just can't
I
hardly
came
believe
in
it.
'85. And of course, when Mike or Lisa was campaigning, of course they came up and I showed them around. And I would have done that for anybody who was campaigning. And we have had,
Yeah.
meet the candidates days and things over the year.
Yeah.
So we have done a lot. And
Yeah.
the community's done a lot for us. This
Yeah.
community has really done a lot for us.
Yeah. Well, and Steve Hale, who got the Lifetime Achievement Award and
Yes.
is no longer with us, he would come to the nursing home, I know, and on Sundays
He
and
did.
do a service or be involved in a service and singing.
In Sunday school. He
Sunday
taught
school.
Sunday school for years. And when one of the ladies died at the nursing home, the family said, we want Steve Hale to do his eulogy. Steve did it. And I was at the funeral. And if you all could have heard him, and everything he said was kind of like how they did Sunday school. And you know what he would always say? He'd say, what are we doing here? We're making men out of boys. See, Steve had 4 boys.
Yeah.
So, and the girls had to come too. But he would say, we're making men out of boys. That was probably after the girls got older and weren't coming anymore.
Yeah.
Families of their own. But the whole family's been up there. And I know, Mary Ann came up to me and she said, Steve would have been so proud that we were award winners at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, he was Santa Claus. He wasn't Santa Claus, he'd get a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in this community that does a lot for us.
Uh-huh.
And we need that.
Yeah.
Our people need it.
Well, on Friday nights, you always have singing and some.
Not on Friday nights so much.
Is it Saturday nights?
We used to have it on Saturday nights, but now one of our bands that have been coming for about 20 or 30 years, they gotten older, so they come on Saturday afternoons.
Okay.
Fourth Saturday night of each month.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's our only group, and it didn't start out with all these guys. It started out with Bud Harden, and if y'all remember Bud.
Oh, yeah.
And Bud and some of the other guys. Scotty Coslow and a man from Willisburg named Lorraine Cooksey that was a very good fiddle player.
Uh-huh.
And then Bud started getting some more to come, like Terry Cole came. He's a really good musician, and he can really sing. And but he's no longer a part of it. He had quite a lot of things going on there for a while in his life. He was not able to come anymore. But I was so afraid that the boys from up around Danville wouldn't come. But when I called, they said, we still want to come. I was elated because they loved them. It's the kind of music that the majority of our people would love.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not a nursing home just with older folks. We take care of anybody who needs help.
Right.
And we take care of younger people as well as older people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I never thought I'd see that day where we would have so many younger like people in there, like people my age or younger.
Yeah.
But we do, but that's what we're for. We're there to take care of the people in our community,
Yeah.
no matter what the age.
Yeah. And you do a good job of it, Gail.
Thank you.
And as you said, you're kind of really a jack of all trades up there. You just really have a
Right.
hand in a lot of different capacities there. And so give us an idea of some of the things that you are involved in at the
Things that I'm involved in? Oh,
that your sister mentioned too, you know,
Oh,
or
yeah,
that
of
you,
course.
yeah.
Well,
You can-
some things that I could tell you that I'm involved in is taking care of the residents. If that means going out, like I did today at lunchtime, I picked up some soft drinks. I got some like gumball gum, like you would get out of a machine. Somebody needed that. You know, it just depends on what they need.
Uh-huh.
But if it wasn't for the people there, I would not have had a job all these years.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's, you know, there's just different things that we have to do. It might be if something's wrong with one of our doors. It might be, oh, can you sit back by one of our doors if our alarms aren't working right, just to make sure nobody gets out, keep people safe. If something was to happen, and they'd say, for over the years, I can say one thing maybe that I have done is, if they needed somebody to sit with somebody for hours during the night or any time of the day, I did it, because these people need people to look after them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a real good staff, and everybody works together.
Uh-huh. And you're in charge of all those activities and things. So you know, I don't even know what all the residents do now, but I know you used to have bingo.
Oh, you
still
don't
have
ever
bingo.
do away with bingo.
I didn't think so.
We had bingo today.
Yeah.
We had bingo today.
And what else do you have?
Oh, well, we have bingo, and we have exercises. In the morning, we'll have musicians, and then at 11 o'clock, we'll have rosary at 11, and then we'll have other activities in the afternoon. And we're going to be having, if I might add this, we're going to be having an Easter egg hunt on March the 18th. No, I mean April the 18th. We're going to have a Easter egg hunt for anybody that wants to come and bring their children to our egg hunt at 4 o'clock that day. We always have an egg hunt every year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I can remember years ago we had an egg hunt, and somehow they found me a costume. So I was really dressed up like an Easter bunny. and I can remember one little child. That little child did not like the Easter bunny. And the mother kept trying to get the Easter bunny, trying to get the child to like me, and he didn't. And I kept thinking, why are you torturing this child? I felt like the mother was torturing the child. So I think finally the child left. But they got to have their pictures made with me.
Yeah, that's great.
And I remember, I dressed up like a clown one time. So you just do different things. But one day, I think it was a clown outfit. And whenever I had done that, whatever picture they had taken, and they had framed it, the family had framed it in the room, I go down to the funeral home to visit. And guess whose picture was right up there with the family pictures? Mine and the husband and the wife. The wife lived there and the husband didn't. And they put that picture of me on there. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to be called to do.
Yeah.
You might be a clown, you might be a dummy, just whatever. You do whatever you have to do. Mm-hmm. Now, one of their favorite things that I do extra special for them is, at times, like on Valentine's Day, we made homemade ice cream.
Wow.
I made homemade ice cream for them. And we had homemade banana and homemade chocolate. And we also had, as Kathy told you, my famous homemade brownies from scratch with icing on them. And they were just really, really fudgy. And they love that. They love a lot of things. Yeah. But it's nice for them to get treats. Once in a while, we make homemade biscuits.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they enjoy homemade biscuits with blackberry jam or strawberry jam or whatever, or grape jelly. They enjoy all kinds of things.
And you're an excellent cook, so, you know, I know your baking is, you're very good at. You made that cake
Oh, I made that cake for you.
Yeah.
Now I made those, and I've sold them at fundraisers. I know she didn't mention those at fundraisers, but I've sold those Oreo cakes at fundraisers too.
Yeah.
And I would sell them by the slices, so people could just buy a few slices.
Yeah. And you had them too at the Springfield Baptist Church when the Springfield Baptist and another church went in together for that.
Oh, and we had that
That was a fundraiser
for the Redbird Mission in.
Right,
The Redbird Mission came, and the money got split between the churches.
Yeah.
For mission projects.
So you made great. Yeah, you made that cake then.
Yeah, and you know when I did that, I got 2 or 3 orders for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them being mine.
Yeah, one of them was Lisa's.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah.
And the longer you leave them in the refrigerator, of course, the better they get.
That's right.
I had a friend, she bought one for Christmas one time. She hid it, so all the family couldn't eat it all. And she said she ate on that. I think she was eating on that cake 6 months later. She said it was still just as good as it was.
Yeah.
Because it stayed so moist because I make it all from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you really are good at all of those, and you know, not only have you gone out of your way at the nursing home to provide the services that you do for the residents, but you're also active in the community.
Yeah.
So with, donating your cakes for charitable causes, and then what were some of the other things? I can't remember that you're
I worked for
involved
the
in.
theater.
Oh, that's right.
I worked for
What
the
would we
theater.
do without you there? I do not know.
Well, I'm ticket seller sometimes.
Yeah,
And most of the time I'm ticket seller, and I'm also concessions.
yeah. And so that's really
Right.
very, very helpful, and of course benefits our city and
It does.
county, and so we really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, and you're very involved in your church,
sure.
and the Presbyterian. Is it the Presbyterian church you attend?
No, I go to the Baptist church.
Oh, you go. Oh, you're a member of the Springfield
But
Baptist.
she was mentioning one Easter, I took the same little sermon about Jesus, and rising from the grave and all that. I took one little sermon, and I had a lamb. I had a stuffed lamb. I think it was made by Doug's mother, Kathy's husband. Doug's grandmother may have made, or could have made that, or Norma Jean Campbell. I'm not sure which one made it. But it was a handmade with the wool spun here in the county. And I used that one, and it's still upstairs somewhere in my closet. Because Kathy decided I should just keep it. But I went from my church, which happened to start sooner than the other. I went from my church that started at 10 o'clock. I went to the Methodist church, which must have started about 10:30, because I had to get up and leave. And then from before 11, I had to be down at the Presbyterian church one Easter. And I gave the sermon to all 3 churches. Because you see, it wasn't a sermon just for Baptists, it was a sermon for the Catholics or the Methodist or anybody, the Christian church. Yeah. So I've been doing those a long time.
Yeah.
I started back in northern Kentucky giving little sermons.
Mm-hmm. And you
been a
do
long time.
online too, some on
Oh, yes. I just do a little devotional. I didn't get around to it today. But since 2014, and I may have started in 2013, but everything that I went back and tried to save says 2014, but I may have started in 2013. I don't remember for sure. But lately I haven't done as well. That I used to do it every day.
Yeah.
And maybe only missed 3 days in 5 years.
So, and that's really nice. I know a lot of people
Have you
enjoy
read it?
that. Yeah. Oh,
Do you
yeah.
read-
Yeah. And then also, of course, it may be that you've skipped a few days because you have your son back home, one of your sons,
Yes, they're
back
living
home
next
in
door to me.
Springfield next door to you. Adam is here, and he was able to attend the chamber
Right.
banquet, and I enjoyed getting to talk with him afterward. And he and his wife, of course, he just retired from the military, and
Right.
thank you, Adam, for your service to our country. 20 years, I couldn't believe it.
Uh-huh.
And so, and he has moved back home to Springfield with his wife and how many?
Four children.
twins? Are there twins?
There's twins.
Yes. And they're the youngest, I think, the twins. So
They are. They're 3 now.
okay.
But
So you've got the 3-year-old twins next door to you.
we do.
And
My 10-year-old grandson will be 11 soon. And my 13-year-old granddaughter that'll be 14.
okay. And so
And then I'm going to have a 17-year-old granddaughter in Ohio this year, if you can believe that.
now that is your other son,
Jeff.
Jeff. Okay. And then how many grandchildren does he have?
Jeff has 2 children.
Okay.
And he'll be 14 this year too. My other Ethan.
Okay.
Ethan will be 14 and Mackenzie will be 17 and Skylar will be 14 and Taylor will be 11 and the boys are 3.
Yeah.
When my dad died a few years ago, and when he died, my son, that summer, the summer that he died, they found out they were having twins. They were having 2 more children after 8 years. Can you imagine it?
Oh my.
But they are precious little kids. They really are cute.
Yeah, yeah. So that may be, Gail, why you haven't had quite as much time lately.
Well, it could be.
Because I know that you're involved with them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And
It's okay.
Yeah, and that's great having him back home.
Right.
I know. And so I thought it was a very deserving award, and
Thank you.
we're just glad that we have you still at Springfield Nursing and Rehab,
Oh, I'm thankful to be there.
carrying on and providing all these wonderful services to the residents there, and certainly we need that facility here in the community.
We
and we
do.
might put a plug in too, Gail, to say that anyone who would like to volunteer
Sure,
up
we
there,
can
because
always
you're
use
always
volunteers.
looking for
Volunteers, you're right.
volunteers to
We are. To help out?
yeah, come in and do all kinds of
Right.
things.
Come and do fun things.
activities, and I think you're even allowing pets to come in.
We have dog therapy every Wednesday,
Yeah.
and the local paper came and did pictures and articles about the dog therapy dogs. They're therapy trained,
Yeah.
and then
So they come in on
so they come in.
Wednesdays and
they
participate.
live out in the Willisburg area. The ladies who bring the dogs.
Okay. And I
So
think
that's a
that's
neat
really
thing.
good for the residents.
It is
Yeah.
for those who like them. Now, if they don't like them,
Yeah, that's a
don't let
different.
them go in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hey, it's their choice. It's their lives. They do what they want to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
So,
And there's one gentleman that's 99 years old. And he can do stuff that a lot of the others can't do. It's just amazing.
uh-huh.
The Lord has blessed him. His mother lived with us a long, long time ago. She was 105 when she died.
Oh my goodness.
And so he has a brother that used to live in this community, but he has gone to an assisted living down around Mount Washington where his son lives to be closer to them. But he is 104 this year. I think he'll be 104. He said, I always wanted to live to be 1 year older. And the unique thing about both of these fellows is they are still very much with it.
That's great.
And that's a
isn't it?
blessing.
That it really is.
That's a blessing. So you might take care of them from, say, 99 or 100. The oldest lady we ever kept up there was, in my days, she was in her 107th year.
Is that right?
When she was 99, Miss Violet, everybody loved Violet.
Everybody loved, that's right.
Violet was a special lady.
Yes.
She really was. So anyway, we had this style show. So she said, let's get Miss Lucy to be in the style show. So I don't remember if Miss Lucy was holding Violet's granddaughter's child in the picture, maybe.
Is that right?
107. But when she was between 100 and 107, sometimes she would look at me. We used to play this game called Little 30. We haven't done it for a long time. But it was a little dice game for women. Well, you see what happened? We started one for the men, and the women spoke up and they got their game. So we called it Little 3 because they wanted to know why just the men were getting to play. So anyway, but the little baby was in the style song. She was 99. So we played this game, Little 3. And every now and then she'd look at me and you say, "Are you sure I'm not gambling?" And I said, "No, Miss Lucy, you're not gambling." I said, "You didn't put up any money. I'm just giving a prize." But
that's pretty
just
good.
some of the things that that come up with your. And then of course we haven't always just kept people from Springfield. We had a famous lady. I'll tell you about her real quick. Her name was Violet Tickner, and her mother recently died around here. But she came down from New York. I guess when she got unable to take care of herself in New York, she came down here. And every time when it got to the day of the Titanic, and we would talk about the Titanic, Miss Violet would always look at me and say, "Sure am glad I missed the boat." And that's kind of the way she talked. So one day I saw her daughter out in the community, and I said, "I can't help when I see you but think of your mother and how every time we did a program on the Titanic, she would always say, 'Sure am glad I missed the boat.'" She looked at me one of the last times she said that to me, and she said, "Oh, I am sure she missed the boat too." Because see, Betty would not have been here if it hadn't been
That's right.
for her mother.
Right, she would not have.
But I
yes.
guess she didn't, she didn't get to get on the boat. She got on one of the other ones, so because she made it to America.
Wow.
Yeah, and we kept one from, we've kept people from the state of Massachusetts. I think we had one or two that had been in Massachusetts. And we kept another lady from New York, too. So, and Mr. Steidoff, of course, was from New York. But anyway, we take care of anybody and everybody who needs help.
Well, be sure and I want you to mention your siblings before we end our interview, because all your family was there that evening, all your siblings.
They were.
And of course, Kathy Davis Elliott, your sister, presented the award, and it was very beautiful. And then your other sisters were there. Linda,
and
who is the oldest? No,
Kathy's the
oldest.
And then Linda.
Okay.
And then myself. I was the girl in the middle.
Okay.
Then Jill and our younger sister Dee Dee.
5 girls.
There were 5 girls.
Okay. No boys.
Never any boys.
Yeah.
Daddy never got his boy, but it didn't bother him. He thought it was pretty good to have 5 girls.
And of course, your mom died too.
She did.
A couple of years.
No, she's been dead.
How long?
She died in December of 2012, I believe it was.
And your parents.
And Daddy died in 2015 because the boys were born in 2016.
Oh, that's right. Your dad died after that. Yeah.
My dad was after that.
And so your parents were Joe and
No, my parents were Kenneth and Dot.
Kenneth and Dot. Right. Yeah. So I know they would be proud of you.
Yeah.
And I know that
They would have been very proud of Kathy.
And your siblings are all very proud of you as well.
Right.
And very deserving.
Thank
and I'm just glad that you could be here with us today. And on Channel 6, we're just going to have to work on making sure that everybody up at Springfield Nursing and Rehab can watch this interview. So thanks so much, Gail, for being
welcome.
here. And good luck in the future.
Thank you.